Shut up and sit down.
By all means, go for it. Have fun. Just leave me alone.
People are coming together more and more and more and more as the government has been failing us more and more.
I'm against being shitty to people.
You can't research your way into understanding somebody.
One way or another, I'd rather have the fight now.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Fight for Liberty Live. Tonight, we have an instrumental figure in the fight against the big tech monopolies. But first, as always, we're going to talk about the people that keep the bills running. Kind of, sort of, not really. You guys don't quite buy enough for me to pay any bills with this show, but I do appreciate the support that you guys do give us. And so does Nugg of Knowledge. So we talk about them almost every show. It's a great place to get your all you need from your for your cannabis needs, or at least the ones that you still need in the states where it's not recreationally legal yet. So we've got the Delta 8, the CBD, the CBG, we've got gummies, vapes, teas, honeys, flour, just about everything you could possibly want. Nuggofknowledge.com, promo code F4L, and that gets you 10% off your first order. And it helps me out, it helps out the show, the network, and everybody else that you like. Our newest sponsor, we're going to talk about him for another couple of weeks. Harrison Kemp is running for governor of Maine, and it's a really exciting race. So go to kempformaine.com/fightforliberty, and you can give him a couple of bucks, help out, or you can just go to his website, sign up to volunteer. They're actually having a campaign meeting right now talking about how awesome this campaign is going to be and what we're going to be doing in Maine this year. But I'm here talking to you guys because I'm not officially on the campaign, but I love it and I'm really excited about it. And there's a lot of really awesome people that are on the campaign. And so I'm really excited about that. Go check them out. But tonight, the moment you've all been waiting for. Today, we're talking to the founder and the CEO of Flote. If you aren't already on Flote, you should go do that. There's a link in the description if you're on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, or Odysee. And while I'm on that topic, if you're watching this on Twitter, YouTube, or Facebook, click the link in the description and finish this stream over on Odysee because they're better. Fuck Facebook. But here we go. Mr. Kingsley. Hello.
Fuck Facebook. That's my line.
I'm already stealing your talking points, man.
Well, yeah. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. I've been pretty stoked for this. One of my good friends interviewed you a little while back when Flote was like first becoming a thing, and I was like, oh, these. Not only is this awesome, he seems super awesome. It's just a cool team and a really cool mission, and everything that's going on seems really dope. And then I took a hiatus from the show for a little bit and never actually reached out until finally. So
oh, cool. Well, yeah, I really appreciate it. I don't know about me being awesome, but our team definitely is, and I guess I'm part of the team, so by default. But yeah, I mean, where do we want to start?
So I was like a sort of testimonial question at the beginning. So I'm curious, when did you realize that there was something wrong with social media the way that it is now, that you needed to build something else?
Yeah, it really started happening in 2018. Especially when Alex Jones got kicked off of all of the platforms simultaneously, no collusion whatsoever, but just so happened, just a coincidence, another coincidence that pops up. Mm-hmm. And from there, I started to, I knew that this was going to be an up and coming trend, but this was even before coronavirus. So no one was really even talking about censorship that much. I mean, obviously Alex Jones was a big tipping point, but people weren't really concerned about anybody else. Everyone just considered, they'll go for Alex Jones, but it's always the saying, was it, they're not coming for you, they're going to come for me eventually, or whatever. I fucked that up like George W. Bush with his other quotes. But yeah, I mean, that was really the tipping point for me. And then just starting to see all of my favorite content creators, libertarian leaning independent journalists that were including even, back then Tim Pool wasn't even, now he's a little bit more libertarian, but not quite there yet. But he, even just seeing like people that I just watch on YouTube, this social media, I learned the importance of it during the Ron Paul days in 2008 and 2012, where I was helping, elect him in Nevada. And we saw that, and that's how I actually learned about Ron Paul. Just some random post, and I was like, what is this? And then I turned, it was a debate, and he was talking about how, end the wars and all this kooky stuff, And,
wait, are you saying that a social media post actually brought somebody to libertarianism?
Yeah, right. So
Crazy.
Are you smoking weed?
This is cannabis, yes.
Okay, cannabis, yeah. Okay. Maybe I should grab my vape then. I didn't know this was so okay. But I saw your sponsor too. That's really cool. Little tangent. Yeah, I just found out about Delta 8, right? Yeah, Delta 8.
Yeah, that's actually what this is.
Okay.
Because I'm in Texas at the moment, and so
Same.
gotta run through those loopholes that we.
You gotta circumvent the system somehow, and it's just like ridiculous. But man, what a gold mine that was, where you can sell basically cannabis, Fite, I guess you could call it, out of any smoke shop. Anyway, getting back to social media. Oh no, I will not do that. Sorry, Erin's in the background. She always does this. She's like, she'll be part of my calls but be off the screen. So I'm just like yelling at no one. Anyway, so yeah, we saw. I saw. Then I learned about Ron Paul through a random Facebook post. Well, it was a friend, and then I just took the deep dive into libertarian philosophy and all that kind of stuff, learning about the Fed and blah blah blah. Became like basically a precious metals guy. I'm giving you kind of a background right now. And then eventually I learned about Bitcoin crypto and Bitcoin early on, probably like 2010, I want to say, but I didn't get any. I just thought it was going to be another fiat kind of experiment. And then I saw it crash, go up to 20, then crash to 2. And I was like, okay, well, that experiment's done. And then in 2013, after Ron Paul was done, that's when one of my friends, he got some funding for his Bitcoin exchange in New York. And I saw that he had like some VC backers, and I was like, well, this is interesting. Like there's starting to be like actual, it's not just like, Ron Paul forums, people talking about this. This is actually stuff that's getting funded in the real world and in exchange in New York. Oh, wow. So I took another deep dive into crypto. And man, once I realized like the possibilities of a world of actual free markets that was, borderless and, pretty much free and instant, depending on what crypto you use now, I was like, okay, now I'm going to commit all my time to this. So anyway, going forward, we've seen now especially after Alex Jones, we've seen just random people getting censored, whether it's shadow banning, complete deplatforming, demonetization. My wife, has made a lot of relationships and brought a lot of people into my life. I like to say that she has like kind of the gift of being able to like reach into any screen I'm watching and like bring that person into our life. And that's like, actually, it's like a kind of a gift. And all the, a lot of them, again, libertarian. Yeah. I mean, it's not, it's not like magic, but it takes a little bit of work sometimes, but man, she does it. And it's so natural because people just gravitate towards her. But we started, making friends with like Kerry Wedler, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media, Dan Dix, Luke Rakowski, I say his name wrong, Jeff Berwick, a bunch of these kind of people that I was like fanboys of, since the Ron Paul days. Yeah. And now all of a sudden, we have a relationship with them, and then we see that all this hard work that they built during the Ron Paul days or even before just would disappear overnight. They would get demonetized, shadow banned, and sometimes I think I'm shadow banned on at least a couple of platforms, but it's hard, it's hard to prove that kind of stuff. But the man, yeah. And then I just started to see that, especially YouTube content creators having to change the words that they say on YouTube to cover current events, that mainstream media was allowed to use these buzzwords or, simple topic terms that were happening in the news. Talking about, police brutality, cryptocurrency has banned, now since coronavirus, vitamin C, right? So like that was really a wake up call for me, because, I just don't want to live in that world. That is a Orwellian world where we are not able to communicate with each other. And that is the beauty of social media, is the peer-to-peer communication without the mainstream just shoving bullshit, into your brain through your ears and your eyes. So that from there, yeah, we were actually working on, like, I had another company, my consulting company, Block 16 at the time, and we were finishing up with some clients, and we were actually starting to work on a cryptocurrency wallet that was focused on privacy coins. We got accepted into Boost VC, which is run by Adam Draper, Tim Draper's son, and San Mateo. He does a blockchain startup accelerator. And I got accepted with that idea. First day we get to Boost VC, I say, hey, listen, we're gonna pivot, and we're like, it's interesting, just the kind of the start of censorship was starting to talk. Like Joe Rogan, I think at that time maybe booked Tim Pool in, and that's when they had Jack Dorsey on in a later episode. That episode
was such a good episode.
It was so ridiculous. I mean, imagine being such a little twerp, Jack Dorsey. I hate Jack Dorsey. I actually hate Jack Dorsey more than Mark Zuckerberg. I'm sorry if you're a fan, but because he acts like he's a cool kid. At least Mark Zuckerberg, he's a robot android. You just know that, like, he just looks weird, and But Jack Dorsey, he to me, he like acts like he's a cool, like, hip startup guy, and he's obviously been successful, and I think it's because the powers that be, or whatever you want to call them, have helped place him in that position. But
and then they took him right out.
Yeah. So we'll see. Some people that I thought were more questionable are now starting to say more libertarian ideas, and I think that it's what's trending. Like, liberty is popular, freedom is popular. Ron Paul always used to say this, and it's true. I mean, because once that light bulb goes off, when you get it, I mean, you start to see the world. It's just like, I just watched They Live. Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
Oh, you have to watch that movie. It's a classic. It's like a cult classic. Well, you probably see maybe the memes or whatever, where he puts on the glasses and like, in the billboard changes from like, Coca-Cola to like consume, and he like looks at the mainstream media, like the news, and it's like, whatever. It just has all these different things. So that's to me like what it feels like to kind of wake up and just see the world through a different lens. And yeah, I'm just going back to I know I keep going all over the place, but just going back to the censorship thing, I knew day one of Boost VC, and it's a hard thing to kind of bring up with your investors day one, that we wanted to focus on this, because it is just very important. I mean, my wife and I are looking to start a family. And also I just want to get the news so I can interpret it myself and figure out and moderate my own life experience on this world. Like, thank you. I don't need the governments or big tech, which is basically colluding with government right now, to tell me what I need to believe and what information I can and cannot have, and demonize bad information. I mean, good information typically rises at the top. And the only reason why we're in the system right now is because we haven't been able to communicate on a peer-to-peer level and bring these ideas to light, because they have controlled the communication channels through, starting with the mail, and then starting with radio, and then TV, and now social media is just so great and powerful. And now with Web3 technology and the decentralization and blockchain and IPFS and all this cool stuff, now it's becoming decentralized, peer-to-peer, and resilient and uncensorable. So it's a really exciting time to be alive, regardless of everything that's going on in the world. Man, I am talking a lot. I'm sorry.
Oh, dude, you're fine. We're only like, it's funny. You said you went all over the place, and I'm like, we've been mostly on the same topic. Like, I'm sure, I don't know if you've ever watched an episode, but like, we usually, this is the most like in one topic for the first 15 minutes of the show I think I've ever actually had.
Well, I'm passionate about it, right? But yeah, so it's just, sorry, just to finish my long ass thought. It's just, I mean, we need to, like, again, just like there's a JFK quote. He says, once you break down, basically the communication barriers, or don't allow people to protest or whatever, I forget the exact quote again, but he says that, the only other option is violence. And that seems like what they're trying to do right now, is segregate us into different categories and pit us against each other. And it's just a classic thing that you see through human history, and we're not going to fall for it again. And now we have the technology to back up our ideas and our thoughts and our people and our businesses to create a, basically, I like kind of what Gab says. They're creating, they're kind of refocusing, I believe, a different, they're calling themselves like the parallel Christian economy. And in a way, I believe in God, but I don't want to focus on like religion. And we feel like we're doing that kind of for the volunteers community, or anybody who just wants to opt out of the system and believes in free speech. Really, that's really what it's about. Doesn't even necessarily mean that you have to be libertarian or whatever. It just means that you need to believe in free speech and believe that people can communicate with each other, which I think, used to be, just the norm. Now it's like controversial. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's you brought up the like normal YouTubers having to change the words that they were saying, being kind of like a big click. And obviously at this point I had already woken up to a lot of the things, but one of the things that like really stood out, I was watching one of my favorite YouTube channels. It's a completely non-political channel. It's called Charisma on Command. It's just like a video where they break down like people and fictional characters, and like it's like a self-help book, but in YouTube version. It's great. But they did a breakdown of the Trump-Biden debate, the first one that they did, and the amount of words that they were bleeping out on the YouTube channel, because they kept saying like COVID or Russia or like vaccine, and they were they were bleeping out all of the words that Trump and Biden were saying that were too political, that would have moved them into a different category of what's getting looked at on their account. Like they were literally like had to do this to like stay out of the these people might be bad guys algorithm, because they do talk a lot about Joe Rogan, they talk a lot about Jordan Peterson, he is an almost libertarian, probably, he's in that camp, the guy that actually runs the show. So like all it would take would be a couple of wrong words and then boom, nope, whole account's gone, because like this guy is spreading right-wing ideologies.
Yeah. So, Flote was really created to say, fuck that. And we do not abide. And we want to facilitate communication and commerce. And we want to create, again, we have the technology now to create parallel, basically, structures to facilitate all this. So, we feel that it's a very important thing, especially been important, obviously, during Corona bullshit going on in the world.
Yeah.
Even, regardless, again, whatever you believe, I don't care. You should be able to talk, debate, discuss, whatever. That's how we learn things. And I'm a very curious person too. So another thing that got me with the censorship is that my wife's stealing my phone charger right now. That's a trigger. Is that, as a curious person, I would use Google and YouTube as research tools to research various things. And, a lot of times cryptocurrency, but whatever that's going on in the world. Right. And I just noticed that slowly but surely they were tinkering. There was things that I used to be able to find on the first page that were not showing up anymore. There was things, obviously, we covered YouTube, but they've changed their algorithm like so much, got rid of the, dislike button, all this bullshit. So that also, I was like, wow, this is something's going on here. First of all, because I used to be kind of like a Google fanboy, like, probably 2017 even, I would say.
Wow.
And then, we saw all these big tech companies colluding with seemed like the government, because it was all politicized. And I'm not even saying like one side or the other. I believe actually it's both sides. I think both sides, it's all bullshit. It's like WWE wrestling, right? So I feel it's a very important thing to do right now. We tested out a lot of platforms at the time, and we just felt like that we could offer something different and offer a different community of voice. And that's kind of what I see where the trend is going as well, where I don't believe we're going to have all these like little online communities are popping up. And they've always existed, really, but now it's becoming even more so, and they're becoming bigger because we're seeing big tech piss off their user base every day. Huge content creators. Even PewDiePie, right? Is getting censored or talked about like he's a Nazi or something. I don't even know much about PewDiePie, honestly, but it doesn't seem like he's a Nazi. I've never met a Nazi, but so yeah. I think it's. We saw it as the right thing to do, but also as a business opportunity because big tech, 2 billion plus users on Facebook, 1 billion plus on YouTube. I mean, these are Goliaths. These are basically their own digital nations. And I believe that's what Facebook was trying to do when they were trying to introduce their cryptocurrency Libra, which was later renamed Diem, which actually just got like canceled or whatever.
Yeah,
because,
it failed.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it failed, right? Like,
I don't
miserably.
It's interesting because you have your theories, right? Your conspiracy theories or whatever you call them, more like conspiracy facts now. But and just seeing like Diem fail or Libra fail, I feel like that was almost just like, I don't know, inside talk or something as far as like the US dollar is concerned, because I do believe that cryptocurrency is the fastest way to worldwide peace and prosperity. Not saying it's going to be a perfect world, but it's going to be a much better world. I can guarantee that. It's just, based off of logic and experience and history.
Yeah.
I mean, just again, them messing with even just pissing me off as a user when I'm watching YouTube, when I'm using YouTube as a research tool, and they're canceling these videos that I used to watch that aren't controversial at all, and messing with the algorithm. That's really what spawned what Flote is.
What I find really interesting is that most of the time when I talk to people that built a company, if I ask them enough of the right questions, I can always get down to, I wanted to be able to use it myself.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's important.
Yeah.
And it also provides a authenticity of what you're building as well, because I do know a lot of successful business people that do just follow trends, and they'll make a lot of money just following trends. Oh, okay, there's a lot, there's a big influx demand for mass, so I'm going to start getting into the mass business and blah blah blah, which is fine. Making money is fine, whatever. But that's always been something with our businesses, is that we always kind of have we want to actually use it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing you said about like just being able to find the information. One of my good friends also just started a news organization, and she complains constantly of just like, I need a reliable source, and there isn't one, so I built one.
I ask people all the time, like, where do you get your news? And still a lot of it is on social media, and that's becoming more and more of a thing. And you can't rely on any of the mainstream anymore. I mean, you haven't been able to rely on it for basically forever anyway. It's just now we're coming to the realization of how serious the problem is because of censorship and because they're limiting our ability to communicate with each other. Yeah. So now we kind of see it's being, the plan being unfolded before our eyes in real time. And we're like, oh shit. I feel like as technologists, we are behind the curve as far as, already having these systems already up. And, because I mean, all big tech, they've been around forever. I mean, Google just announced they made $200 billion in revenue last year alone. $200 billion. Nice. And there's countries that don't bring that in,
Yeah.
But I do believe, there's the business opportunity and then the natural trend. I mean, you can just look this up yourself, of people that are looking into alternative apps. Obviously, big tech pissing off their user base more and more every day. That used to get me upset, things that they would do as far as censorship. Now I'm like, keep doing it, baby. Because, all these people are going to just get pissed off and look for elsewhere, and they'll find Odysee, they'll find Flote, they'll find Minds, they'll find all these others. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things that differentiates like Flote's vision, at least, that I don't see these other companies talking about, is that we really want to create the bridges and the gaps between big tech to counter tech or whatever you want to call it, and then also from these alt tech platforms to other alt tech platforms. So we're really going to be focused on interoperability starting this year, and so we already have like a way for people to download their Facebook data, upload it to Flote, so they can bring over all their memories, all their posts, pictures, and videos. We have a way for you to when you sign into Flote, you can
link about that.
It's a pretty cool feature that I thought of myself, and then and so we built it. So we can do that. Aaron's going like that. So, and we can do that with Twitter. We can do that with YouTube as well, the same way that Odysee does it. We're looking to become actually an Odysee app or a library app, so that you can actually view and engage with Odysee videos directly in Flote, which I think is really exciting. And that's what we want to do. We want to make these connections with other networks, because that's what networks are supposed to do. They're supposed to just be like really a node And right now we've been in this walled garden, big tech walled garden. And so we need to break out of it.
That's awesome. I'm very excited to see some of these platforms, to see things like that. I mean, what you just said about Odysee is like really exciting to me, because I feel like that's one of the major things that's missing from most. I guess I like the term alt tech, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
for
New
like
tech.
for both of those kinds of sites, like Google integrates with everything. Same
Mhm.
with Facebook. Like I can log into pretty much any website I want through my Facebook login. And like, there's just so many things that are so intertwined that like to change from like say Google to Proton Mail, or from like Gmail to Proton Mail is like actually a major headache that I
Yeah.
almost undertook and then actually didn't. Like I still use my Gmail. Like
I do too, self-admittedly. And it's because, like, again, we are behind the curve as far as usability and dependability and uptime and all this stuff. So there's still a lot of work to be done. But when I see that work, I think opportunity, because this work is needed and people are now, there is a demand for it finally.
Yeah, and the other problem is like with Google, Gmail, but also Google and Chrome and YouTube. You have like the Goliath that Google is, and we're starting to break down. Like Brave is a great replacement to Google Chrome. I use that. We have DuckDuckGo instead of Google. Like I haven't actually Googled something in probably a year and a half at this
Oh, wow.
point.
Yeah.
Like between DuckDuckGo and I used Bing for like a little short amount of time. I was like being edgy. I was like, fuck Google. I'm gonna use Bing.
I'm going to use Microsoft. Yeah. That'll
Right.
show.
It's just not any better. But then I found DuckDuckGo and it was great. And even like, you could do Proton Mail instead of Gmail, but you don't have the wonderful like all in one with a ribbon like Google does.
Right.
But it doesn't require it to all be one company. Like
Mhm.
you're saying, like these things can work together, and like Brave and DuckDuckGo work really well together. And there's other kind of things that are like that. So I'm excited to see that work, because it also produces that inevitably better world where we have, what did you say, $200 billion that Google made? Or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
If that's broken out into 13 different tech companies that take up each piece of Google, you're already distributing wealth better than we are right now.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what I believe too. I believe that we're going to see, these 3+ billion people on big tech platforms start to assimilate into these smaller platforms that, like, for us initially, like I was kind of more focused on a more larger scale, but I'm still focused on a large scale. But I think that 1% of Facebook's user base is 100 million people. 1%. Did I get that math right? I forget. Or is it 4%? No. One. Yeah. Anyway, it's a lot of people. So wait, no. 4. I forget.
100.
Anyway, I forget the math right now. It's a late night. But that's all you can be successful with 100 million users.
Mm-hmm.
That's completely
I would
possible.
love 100 million subscribers on my channel.
Oh yeah, I would love 100 million users on Flote, and I believe that we can, especially with a great community that is focused on the right ideas and is supporting each other. I believe that we can absolutely change the world. I mean, that's basically a country, or a nation of people, or a group, organization of people worldwide that help each other. They promote each other. They buy from each other's business. That's another thing that I love about like the Flote community, at least right now, is that we've been getting a lot of feedback as far as this. I'll give you one example. This one guy, he posted one post on Flote. And then he posted like a couple days later saying that this one post made me more sales than all years. Like he was on Instagram for like 4 years, all 4 years on Instagram promoting what I do. And that's because we are now realizing that we cannot depend on the system that is already built before us. We need to create new systems, and we need to support good people doing good things. And that is what really what's all about.
It was 4 years of paid ads.
4 years of paid ads too. You're not in this interview.
I'll have you on some other time, Aaron. I promise.
It was important information.
It was. I appreciate it.
So you do that somewhere else? She's opening a package right here now. Jeez.
I love it. So how did you like find, approach, and pay the developers on this project and get it from like an idea to an actual tangible product?
So, like I mentioned, we got into Boost VC. They provided a small amount of $75,000 of pre-seed money. So that was able to get us the initial funding to start the project. I found a CTO, and I had a designer and a front-end dev. That basically we were really, it was like Aaron helped out a bunch in the beginning, but it was more really the three of us at the initial launch, because we both were also we were all at Boost VC as well. Aaron couldn't attend the whole time. So we did that. I have previous tech companies. Our previous company integrated cryptocurrency with video games, and then we got and then also casino floors. We developed the first esports lounge on a casino floor in Las Vegas, and we did multiple of those. So I have a decent network and a decent background in this space. And we just built it. And social media is like the hardest thing. I remember one interview that Adam Draper was doing during Boost VC, because a lot of times he'll bring in like successful, VCs and founders just as like, an opportunity to learn and educate yourself from people that have done it in the past. And he was interviewing this one VC, and they mentioned that social media at that time was the least invested with VCs at that time. And he said that's normally like a bad indicator, but that's also, if you're a contrarian, that's also a good indicator as well, because it's never been lower. So we just ran with it. I believe it's probably one of the hardest things to actually be successful at is social media. Mm-hmm. But here we are. I mean, we're throwing our hat in the ring, and we believe that we really have a shot, and we believe what we're doing is special, and we feel like, especially right now, that we have the team to make it happen. So we're very excited, especially about this year. We have a lot of things coming up. We just launched our NFT sale this week, which we're really excited about. That also includes our Flote token distribution as well, airdrop, and a bunch of other perks. We're doing FloteFest for the second time. We did our first one last year, so that's coming up in April. So a lot of things going on for Flote this year.
Nice. So I'm a little bit annoyed because you and Kaufman gave me not the same answer, but similar answers to that question, which was basically like, oh, I already knew a bunch of people, and like I already kind of know what I'm doing, so we just like built it. And I'm like, God damn it, but I don't know anybody.
Okay, yeah. So I can, and this is I believe this is great information that great question that you're covering. Is so with my first company, my background was in wealth management. And then I did like this office work for my stepdad's construction company in Canada. I was actually like an illegal immigrant in Canada for like a year. So then I had this idea when I really got into crypto. I was like, well, how can we make crypto mainstream? And I also was interested in gambling, just being raised in Vegas. So we built like kind of a skill-based platform where people can play against each other in popular video games for Bitcoin. This is in 2013. It's pretty cool. Just thinking back, like back then, that's when I still love crypto, like the ideas of crypto, but just like the community around crypto, I feel like has been just kind of taken over. But that's a whole nother subject. Anyways, to find developers and to start that process, I just went on forums. I went on Reddit. I went on any forum I can find of people that were interested in cryptocurrency technology and that could be developers. And at that time, I had no money. I was looking for just, basically a team. And then I was going to start, build an MVP. There's also a lot of books that like cover kind of the process and give you really good information. So I have like a book, probably as, books as tall as me as ones that I've read to kind of understand the process of raising money, building a team, getting into technology and running it as an executive. So I definitely recommend that. But yeah, just you got to do it. You got to go. I went to Bitcoin meetups in Toronto. I asked everyone, who was a developer, and finally I found two developers that we ended up running with, and one was our CTO, and one was kind of more of a front end guy. And we just built it. We just did it. We figured out the best MVP, minimum viable product that we can produce to bring to the public for them to try it out. And then from there, you want to gain, users and potentially revenue if you can monetize that early, and then hopefully attract more investment so that you can kind of scale. If you're lucky enough to monetize a lot initially, then you can kind of bootstrap it and you don't have to seek investment. But I feel especially in this world where we're competing with big tech, it's investment is and revenue is definitely important so that we can do it fast, because who knows how much time we have. I mean, these tyrants are crazy all over the world, and we have to come up with solutions as soon as possible. We basically have to recreate the full vertical of communication, taking over, decentralizing the internet, getting satellites or whatever up into the air to recreate that. We need new hardware. There's some companies that are focused on that, de-Googled phones and all this stuff, but it's still not to the scale of that, like that, what Ernie Hancock calls the grandma, what does he call it? The grandma hit button, the grandma click button, where it's just like, one click, how we're kind of all used to.
Mm-hmm.
I think what benefits us at the time right now is that people are willing to move on to other platforms and experiment more. Whereas before, if they may have run into this or that because it's not as fleshed out as big tech is yet, they would kind of give up on those products. We all do it, still to this day, and I did it, a lot more in the past. But people are willing to kind of like go through maybe some extra steps and hoops to give other platforms a chance, because it's needed right now, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, sum up your
you
answer.
got to actually answer the question without it being
I did,
about
right? I mean,
you did. That was
use your
great.
brain. Use your brain. You need something. Where do I find those people? Online is a pretty freaking good resource,
Yeah, I think you gave that answer was perfect, but like no one that's actually like asking that question wants to hear that answer, because basically what you said is like, I spent hours of my life like reading and getting better at things, and then I went out and I met people and I talked to people and I did things, and then I found people and I just did it. Like, there isn't a secret sauce. You just gotta fucking do it.
You just have to do it. I will say that right now, what is really interesting and something that I'm exploring a lot more is there's a lot of no code platforms like bubble.io and these other platforms that are popping up where you don't even have to be a developer, because I have no developer experience. I don't code at all. I did some classes online for like basic front end HTML, CSS type stuff and some JavaScript early on, but I don't remember pretty much any of that. But you have to, so these no code platforms. They're really interesting because they're kind of like an advanced WordPress in a way, or a much easier WordPress to use, where you can develop full apps basically overnight. You just have to add your branding, and you can utilize, whether we prefer to do, instead of like getting like kind of more like freelance work, I prefer to build a strong team that can run with you together, because a typical company is going to last anywhere from 7 to 10 years if you're successful. And so I believe it's important to kind of build that foundation of a team that is willing to grind it out. Potentially, at the start, absolutely no pay whatsoever. When I first started my first companies, I had a full-time job, and after I was obsessed with the idea and cryptocurrency, so I did research at work, and then after work, we I'd meet up with the team, and we would kind of build out the vision. So there's no secret sauce. Yeah, you just have to use your brain, people.
Use your brain, people. I like that. I'm definitely gonna clip that. So you brought up minimum viable product already. So I'm curious what went into the conversation about that with Flote, and what went into the conversation about, or the decision to go fully public with the beta version?
At the time, we didn't know really what we wanted to focus on, but I wanted to provide a lot of features from the get-go, because I saw that as being limiting to myself when I tried other platforms, as they would only have like only text posts, or only this, only that. So we ran with a full more of a fully featured app from alpha beta, and we unfortunately our CTO, our founding CTO, who's no longer with us, he picked the right tech stack and tools to get us to a point, but it wasn't as scalable as he thought it would be or said it would be to me. So
Been there.
yeah, no, yeah, it's an issue, right? Especially with the social media company. So so now, I mean, we're really excited that we have a great core team now, all people, at least like libertarian leaning or full on voluntarist anarchists that are, hardcore, just, and great developers as well. So we're re-architecting our whole platform right now, and to get it out of beta. We're unfortunately a little bit delayed. We were hoping to launch it before last year ended, but we're going to be launching this quarter by the end of this quarter. So yeah, it's just you just gotta, like, again, I'm not a developer myself, so I just have to kind of do the work myself, again, research to verify certain things. But really, there's a trust factor, and you want to build these relationships over time. And luckily enough, now we have a core team of people that we've known, really at least known, on a personal level, maybe not professional, for several years, but are just like gung ho, voluntarists. At least,
awesome.
Especially our executive team.
There's nothing better than having like a family-esque work environment like that, where you're just like together and you're doing it and you're all kind of all in 100%. And it's something that unfortunately I feel like a very small percentage of people actually ever get to experience in their lives. And it just makes me like feel bad for people that have just only ever worked, and no one's ever like done stuff like that. Yeah.
I think some people are happy with that life. They're happy with the 9-to-5 life, and that is not me. I do not fit into the 9-to-5. It would always make me miserable. Every 9-to-5 I've ever had, I would just come home, have to just feel drained, have to like take a nap and just be like, I got to wake up tomorrow again, do the same, fucking thing again. Yep. So this, I think it's really exciting. I think it's worth people that are interested, but not everybody's like that. Most people are not like that. And so some people are just, happy with their whatever. But it is, it is exciting. And I think that it's what keeps us up late at night and wakes us up in the morning, is this mission behind of what we're doing, and having this great team that we're doing it with. And it's so needed right now because it's like, I feel, I joined the military after 9/11, after high school. And it's kind of that same camaraderie in a way, where again, we have like a mission, a goal, and there is a war on peaceful people worldwide. And there's an info war happening, especially on social networks. They're creating this prison planet, if you will. And I'm not even like that big of an Alex Jones fan, but it is interesting to think of how smart he was in using this terminology, for decades before we even really.
Or he's a psyop.
Or he's a psyop. But the whole Alex Jones thing,
It's my unofficial official opinion on Alex Jones is he's a psyop.
I get that. I'm becoming more, now that he's finally again kind of backtracking on Trump again. But he's still they InfoWars unfortunately still pushes the left-right paradigm, which I think is just completely bullshit. So
yep. So can you give us any spoilers on what we're gonna see in Flote 1.0?
Yeah, we're getting rid of our Bitcoin wallet because Bitcoin, after the halving event, just became kind of unusable as money. And as someone who wants to bring cryptocurrency or help bring cryptocurrency to the masses, I believe that we need, transactions need to be cheap, they need to be fast. And Bitcoin, Ethereum, now we're seeing that with the congestion network is just not doing that. So we're integrating MetaMask and building a side chain on Polygon, which is a second layer solution. We may eventually run with our own blockchain longer term, but right now we feel that this Polygon on top of Ethereum is the best solution for what we need right now. And so people will be able to pay in Flote token and actually even become nodes for the transaction fees, which I think is really kind of cool, because right now, it's a pain whenever you're on an app or whatever, and you have to have the currency you're actually transacting with, and then like Ethereum if it's the ERC20 token or whatever. So it'll be really cool to do that. So yeah, we're integrating MetaMask, so we're becoming more of a Web3 decentralized version of ourselves. We are we're changing the layout quite a bit, which I think people will find very, very friendly. We're looking at, it's kind of like I feel like a hybrid more of Twitter, Facebook, which I feel like right now we were a little more, or definitely when we started, we were a little bit more design wise Twitter looking, and so it's going to be kind of like a hybrid that we feel is so we're really excited about. We're going to be adding our rewards token. This isn't all coming. Let's see, version 1. This isn't all coming directly after the Catamaran. Catamaran is our version 1 out of beta is the codename Catamaran. Is more of like setting the foundational layers. So we will have the MetaMask integration. That's like kind of the biggest thing. We'll also be supporting stable coins and some other currencies on our platform, which is cool. Oh yeah, we'll have dark mode. Finally, this has been the #1 requested.
Nice.
And it's just been, I don't know, don't ask me why, but it's been a pain to finally deploy it, but we'll finally have that.
Nice.
And then we're going to be like, throughout the months after we're going to be integrating our rewards, crypto rewards with our token. We're going to be becoming a library app. So there's the potential of where you can post a video on Flote and earn all just from one video, earn Flote tokens, library credits, mines. We're looking to like integrate a bunch of these across so you can earn multiple currencies for just one post and to kind of broadcast that out. Eventually, also, we're looking, again, more of interoperability. So for login, for instance, you mentioned like logging in with Google or Facebook. We want to add that. Like, we want to give people the option to use that. But we also want to inform people that, hey, if your Facebook or your Twitter or your Google account ever gets suspended, like you should probably give a backup email address as well, so just in case you can recover your account. We can do also that with other, we can do that with library as well. So you can log in with your library ID. I want to create a restream feature basically where you can broadcast the float and post it out to multiple other sites at the same time, including YouTube. But definitely Odysee, definitely the alt platforms.
That's like my like little pet, like if I could find, somebody just like was like, hey, I have a whole team and money and like you could build just one website, what would it be? It would be like a replacement to StreamYard or Restream that integrates well with Flote and Odysee and the other platforms. Like that's the thing that's just like nitpicky in my life right now, because I use StreamYard, which makes posting to Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube super easy, like really seamless, just wonderfully easy. Flote and Odysee, not so much. So I have to like go out of my way to like rename and everything the streams, and it's like it's just obnoxious.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, so I mean we need to give creators the tools to be able to get their message out. And that's what, really is really our sole focus on, even just marketing. We haven't done any paid promotions or marketing yet. And it's just been really about, talking to people, seeing what they need. So that's like valuable input and building the tools that they need to be successful.
Yeah. Cause if we can, like, if we're like all working together and if we are able to bring in the audience, because this is starting to affect everyone, like we're saying, like this is becoming a more mainstream issue. So the audiences are leaving Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and everything, and they're going over here. And then there's a bunch of people on your platforms that are saying all of these awesome libertarian-esque things, but the best way is if we can like legitimize and professionalize both of those groups simultaneously, and we're actually able to like bring a bunch of people into these free speech platforms and then show them like great awesome messages from people like Dave Smiths and Reed Coverdales and all the wonderful people that we have in this movement. It would be really fun because like I think we have a lot of potential in the movement for like really strong social media content. Like that's kind of all we're good at, it seems like at the moment. Like we're pretty good at making pictures and videos and short clips and podcasts, and like that's pretty much what we're good at. So it would just make sense for us to be working with the platforms that put that shit out there and like working together. It just makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, again, like liberty is popular, and we need to be supporting each other, and yeah, I completely agree. I know I just remember why, as you were speaking, we are going to be integrating groups or creating groups for Flote as well. Right after this is going to be version 1.1, so it'll be like a month or two probably after we launch. So I'm guessing probably like, I don't know, April, May, probably May. Groups, we're going to be doing Flote Market, because the Flote equation is free speech plus free markets equals free people. And so we feel that it's important to have a marketplace where people can interact peer-to-peer with cryptocurrency, private transactions or not, whatever you want to do. And just, again, give people the tools to be able to and help promote, good voices out there and good people, good businesses doing good things. Because that is how we win. We just we create the systems to opt out of the systems, and that's what Bitcoin represents for the financial system, which is probably the most important. But we also need this on the communication side too, and the community side as well.
Yeah, I feel like there was a switch in perspective that happened, because like I also was a Google fanboy for quite some time. I heavily identified with that when you said that. But so there was the time when I really wanted like Facebook Marketplace to have crypto. And then something switched. I don't know when, but like there's a noticeable difference between like that mindset to I hope Facebook Marketplace dies and everyone uses Flote Marketplace, which uses crypto. Like it's just a whole other like from like I hope the powers that be are like kind of nice to us, maybe, to like fuck them. They need to all get like either voted out or assassinated or something. Like, like it's a whole perspective shift. I think it's like the libertarian versus anarchist conundrum of like, maybe we can fix it, and then just no, like just it's not going to get fixed. Mark Zuckerberg is never going to be a good guy. It's just not going to be a thing. Yeah,
no, absolutely. I mean, these people, this is what has been great over the last 2 years with this whole Corona bullshit, is that the masks are basically, well, they're up actually, but the masks are off in whatever metaphorical terms. And we're able to see people for who they really are and what they believe and what they support. So we need to choose, as good people doing good things to support the same people of the same mindset, and we need to opt out of the system as much as we can and create a better system that is focused on not war, not locking people up, like my father for 30 years for a cocaine charge, not all the bullshit that they do, not fiat money. I mean, and now we are at the turning points in history where it's very terrifying what's going on, especially on the free speech side and everything else. But we're at the turning point where we're taking technologies where it's decentralized technology, especially, is where it's at, where it's becoming more usable. It's becoming more. I mean, it's in the mainstream now, and it's very exciting time to be alive.
For sure. Yeah, I'm definitely stoked. I know I keep referencing Odysee and Kaufman in that episode, but because it was like 2 weeks ago, I'm like, it's kind of a nice back to back of like get people off of these platforms.
Yeah.
But something that I've really liked about both platforms is that it's not weird, and like pretty much every other free speech platform has been thus far. Like if you go on like BitChute was great when it started, like it was normal, and now it's hard to find a video on BitChute that doesn't at least throw up some sort of a question about whether or not the Holocaust actually happened. And it's just like
I think it's like on the front page,
way over there. And
even
Getter was like cool for like a day, and then just started taking stuff down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that whole Getter thing. Yeah, no, I agree. And that's, I think that's where we sit as a benefit to the people that have come before us, like BitChute, like Gab, like, these other platforms. They've taken a lot of arrows from government and big tech. And they have also, created this pathway for other companies to flourish. But they also took maybe a lot of the more fringe communities that's we don't necessarily once they can join, but we don't necessarily it doesn't their content or not, like we can kind of whatever.
Right. So do you think that the fact that they have like Gab and MeWe and Parler is kind of like they have no reason to like go on to Flote, and so it's freed up to just exist without them?
Yeah, in some ways, yeah. I mean, I think, yeah, those more fringe communities that were getting censored really early on, with, questionable content, you should be able to be discussed. They just, they've already kind of have their communities in these other places. So, but it doesn't really, for us, it's just about communication and breaking down the barriers that the powers that be are setting up. Gotta think of a better word than powers that be. The elites, or I don't know what the hell they call these people, lizard people, whatever.
Lizard people. That'll get me taken down from YouTube if I have to really start using that ironically more often. I used to say it a lot, not on the show, but just like in real life. I used lizard people as a.
I mean, I think there's maybe some evidence of some truth to it, so I don't know.
I'm also a fan of Malice uses the cathedral. That one's kind of
yeah.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So you mentioned FloteFest. Tell me about FloteFest. Like, where did that idea come from? Like, why is a social media company hosting a festival, and why is it going to be awesome?
Yeah, the idea came from, well, Erin, my wife and I, we've been running the Las Vegas Bitcoin meetups and events since 2014, and that's actually her background. So in 2019, we threw Anarcho Vegas, which is like a spinoff of Anarcho Poco in Las Vegas. That was really fun, great time. Like any event that my wife is a part of, it's just always a good time. Like everyone, I'm not even just boasting about her. Like everyone has generally a good time. It's good people, and we have like 100% positive feedback. So we're really lucky to have her. She's sitting across from me. She makes me say all this stuff. But so we threw Anarcho Vegas in 2019.
Blink twice if she's got a gun to your head.
What's a machine gun? But we so then in 2020, well, what happened, right? Corona BS. So we had Anarcho Vegas 2020 already lined up at one of the casinos, and we were like, okay, we're gonna have probably like at least 300 anarchists, and they're not going to follow all these casino rules and do this and do that. And we didn't want to follow the rules either. So we were like, okay, well, I guess we are going to have to pivot. So we did like kind of more of a meetup with less people. We had like probably 40 or 50 people show up. We just went hiking, and then we just did a pool party at my parents' house, which was a really good time, and raised some money for Ross Ulbricht. Lynn Ulbricht was there.
Nice.
A bunch of cool people. David Rodriguez, a bunch of cool people were there. But then we went to PorcFest and Jackalope in Arizona, and we really fell in love with this idea of like, why? Because especially being part of the crypto, community, we are, you're just used to going, especially before Corona, we were going to conferences all the time. It's always like, stuffy and buildings, stuff like that. Like, let's get outside. I mean, this is a big skill set that people need to just get used to, is kind of being a little bit more uncomfortable outside, getting into nature, getting some sunlight. Also, it's good for your health, getting fresh air, communicating with people, not in these like boardroom environments, but like, actually like around the fucking campfire. How about that? That sounds like a good time to me. And this is what we witnessed at PorcFest in Jackalope. We actually ended up getting married at Jackalope because we just had such a good time.
Nice.
So we, yeah.
Okay.
And then, we were the first wedding of Jackalope. But Anarcho Vegas didn't really happen the way that we wanted to. We're like, hey, fuck it, let's throw FloteFest, which was last year in March, and we had our team threw it together in 60 days with my wife leading it, and we had over 300 people. We had Sam Tripoli, we had Del Bigtree speaking, Scott Horton, a bunch of great people, Tatiana Moroz playing music. So yeah, it was just a really, really good time. 4 days out. It's on 110 acres of farmland, or it's a ranch. And so, you can tent, RV. There is a hotel if you don't want to do that. It's only like 10 minutes away. So you can stay there and be lame if you want. No problems with that. And yeah, we just, since we had that events experience, we wanted to try our idea of a good event outside. And I would say we blew it out of the park. And this year, I think we're going to blow the park even more.
Nice. Do you guys have a public speaker list yet for this? I feel like I've seen one already.
Yeah. I think we've announced some names so far. I'm not part of that events team really.
So Jack Spirko from the Survival Podcast.
Okay, Jack Spirko. Oh, we're having Spike Cohen.
Spike Cohen is our headliner.
Yeah, he's one of our headliners.
Beautiful.
We have Scott Horton returning again.
Scott Horton.
Jason Bassler from Free Thought Project.
Jason
David Rodriguez to come and teach and encourage parents to pull their kids out of school and give them the confidence to homeschool. Who else?
Probably
Ernie Hancock.
Ernie Hancock. Yeah, probably John Bush too.
John Bush is going to be there, and then we have a ton of cool workshops. So we have a breathwork workshop from Luis Fernando Mises. We have Nexus doing a farmer's market, and people can pay a Nexus coin. Pirate Chain is going to do something awesome. We have a defense, a dojo here in Central Texas, who's going to be putting on a self-defense workshop. I'm trying to get Ladar Levison to come.
Lavabit.
From Lavabit. So yeah, it's going to really
Wow.
Yeah, we're just getting started. Honestly, I think we're going to
be stacked. All right.
Yeah, we're just getting started.
Well, it is already in my calendar, so I will definitely be there.
Tickets are available now. And if you buy a Flote NFT, you can actually, if for $1,000 or up, you can get a free VIP ticket.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of perks to that. Yeah, FloteFest.com. Really excited about it. And again, it's also about bringing online communities to meet IRL, in person. And I think it's important to create these bonds of trust and again facilitating communication amongst smart people. I believe that we are I believe the brightest minds are in this movement. And so the more that we collaborate, the more we work together, the more we support each other, the more success we'll all have. What is it? High tides raise all ships.
High tides raise all boats, yeah. But it's awesome. Just you get to buy
raises all the floaters
with silver and it's just.
Oh yeah, and people they it's just agorism. So we had people last year, and I'm sure this year too, using gold, silver to pay for things. Everyone accepted everything. Then they would use ammo to buy things. It was $1 a bullet at the time. Now it'd probably be even more. So just really good time.
That's awesome. So what are some of the pettiest, most tiny nitpicky things that you disliked about other platforms that you changed when building Flote?
I would say probably, the pettiest, I don't know. Probably just usability. I'm all about just fluidity and design. And that's really where, when I'm not having to focus on fundraising, where I like my focus. We didn't hit all the goals and milestones that I would have wanted to hit, just being honest. But we are on a very good path to getting to where we need to be. So again, this new launch of the newly architectured platform version 1 is just really setting that foundation where we're just going to be able to build on and expand upon.
Nice.
But yeah, not to give it. Yeah, I can't think of anything specific, but just really those things. It just feels even Flote and other platforms right now, they still feel a little clunky. But it's going to take time. It's going to take money. It's going to take energy and great teams to be able to build the future.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are.
Yeah,
trying.
I got a fun little screenshot yesterday on Odysee because it had on the suggested tab was all of my videos because I was in a I was in the free speech media account that basically only follows my other accounts. And so that all the suggested were mine, but all of the pictures were wrong compared to the video. Like the names in the pictures didn't match.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, but fuck it, who cares? Like, I know that the names are right. Like, I know
Right.
that the videos still work. Like,
Yeah.
there's a couple bumps in the road, but like,
Yeah. Hey, I mean, we are competing with literally trillion-dollar companies, right? That have been around for decades. So it's going to take some patience, it's going to take some more time, but we are getting there, and there are great teams, doing what I feel God's work to get it done. So there's still a lot of work ahead of us for us internally and for just the movement in general as far as technology is concerned. Even with crypto, like we were talking about, $2 trillion plus market caps, and crypto still feels clunky too. So we need, but it's getting there. It's getting there, and it's becoming more and more mainstream. So
yeah. Oh, we have our number one fan in the chat, Elizabeth, who is a avid Flote user as well. It's funny how many of my friends are actually on Flote, and I like didn't realize it because I made an account and then I stopped using it for a little bit, and then I went back to actually like trying to use it, and I like pretty much just followed like pages. Like I followed like the Free Thought Project, and like obviously Flote, and I think you and your wife, and like just like Police the Police. It was just all of my following was just like pages, not people. That so like there was no interaction. Like I had put myself into a very weird echo chamber of just like other like media outlets, and it was very weird. I don't know, it was just, but I realized that it was like self-created because like that's how social media is, and I was like, okay, let's go find the people that I know and love, and then I did that, and I was like, okay, this is more fun now.
Right, yeah, exactly, and that's what it takes engaging with the community. If you want engagement, it's best to engage. I mean, start your own Kindle to create the fire, right? So it's very important to do that, and it just takes a little bit of work. I mean, just think of all the work that people have put into their big tech social profiles over the years, and how that can be just stripped away for you for no reason. And we don't want to support these crazy lizard people anyway.
Yeah.
So
I'm terrified of my Twitter going down. Like
I'm gonna report you right now just to hopefully give you a strike.
I've gotten labeled misinformation like 4 times in the last couple of months, but twice in the last week.
So no.
So we're teetering on the edge. One of my posts said that ivermectin and cowbell is the cure to COVID, and then it had a meme of a cowbell and like thing. And then ivermectin was trending like 2 days ago, and so I tweeted ivermectin is trending because it's a proven treatment for COVID, and that got labeled misinformation as well.
How dare you?
Yeah, how dare I say things that like 40 something countries are like actively in agreement with me on.
Yeah, no, it's a complete clown world out there, and again, so we need parallel systems so we can opt out efficiently. But going back to just I think that's really a big thing that's we especially need to focus on, and other platforms are probably even better than us at it at right now. I feel we have a strategy to have a one-up eventually, but not that we all can't succeed together. But it's discoverability. Being able to if you do link your Facebook, Google, and Twitter profiles on Flote, it should also show you those people that you follow on these other platforms as well, so you can choose to follow them. I think that's where Gitter kind of did a right. They didn't do it exactly right at all, because they just like took all of your followers and made them show as followers right when you sign up. It doesn't make any sense to me. But discoverability is absolutely important, because we basically need to discover the old people that we were working, communicating with in the past, and also discover new people that we want to engage with.
Yeah. And I think it's really important to like move now, because like at the moment I still have a Twitter account, so I can continuously post links to my Odysee and my Flote, and I've posted some things to my Getter. Getter, don't go on my Getter account. It's not great.
I'll never go and get her. I mean,
No.
I think we created an account like maybe the first. No, we didn't. I think Flote has a Getter account. We were on every platform just to obviously promote Flote. But
Right.
Getter, yeah, we did like the first 10 minutes of research that we did into Getter. We were like, oh, honeypot smells like Parlor, and forget about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me and my best friend Reed Coverdale were just trying to get banned, basically. So he said a lot of things that I won't repeat out loud on YouTube because they will get me kicked off.
Did he attack Israel?
Oh yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I did that. Like, I posted some like dancing Israeli memes, and
Oh.
like I did, like we were just going like how much can we piss off these conservative right wingers? And still both of our accounts are active, which is
Yeah.
crazy. So they seem to be like really quick to remove a post, but pretty slow to remove an account.
So have you had any of your posts removed?
Oh, I've had 2. He's had probably 40 or 50 at
So
least.
stupid, right? Free speech, social media. It's like bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it pisses me off because you know it's a little upsetting when you know that when you know the real story and how they are censoring people, and then you know they're overly popular. They have like $175 million in investments and all this and that. But we'll have our day.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like it just, the thing is, Getter's like almost a year old. That's what people like.
Well, it was actually apparently built using the same technology as the Chinese company. So they just really reskinned it. And so the actual company itself, I believe, is even longer than a year old.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, when you have, you know, the Rogan moment, basically,
Yeah.
you know, you're going to bring on a lot of people. So that's, you know, that's really what we're after.
We need to get you on Joe Rogan.
Hey, we're in, you know, just being in Texas, being able to network with more like-minded people is, and especially content creators, is one of the reasons why we're here. So I do believe whether it's a Rogan moment or not, I don't really care. But even, you know, Michael Malice is here, Lex Friedman, all these other people. So we, you know, I think we'll be able to get to that scale and actually be able to onboard a lot of users starting after the first quarter of this year.
Heck yeah. Are you going to be at South by Southwest?
Yeah, we're planning. I mean, we're probably not going to attend any of the conference stuff, but yeah, we'll be in the area for sure.
Nice.
We already have a couple meetings lined up.
Well, if we have free time, I don't know how busy I'm going to be that, because I don't know what my job title is actually it is for that event, but we should definitely hang out. That's one of the reasons I'm thinking about moving to Texas. Like it's almost a for sure thing that I'm going to move to Austin by the end of the year.
Yeah, I don't.
Everyone's in Austin. Like,
yeah,
it seems like the best city in the country to move to. Like, I just.
Yeah, like Aaron and I, we're not city folk anymore after we moved from Vegas to Texas. Like we're in the outskirts of Austin. And I mean, like Austin's cool, but I just, you know, there's a lot of Californians and other people that I feel that could that are ruining or have already ruined or you know, continue to ruin Austin. Yeah. So I just think for us, you know, it's also like a time in our life where we're just thinking, you know, more rural, buy land. You know, I think it's in connect with other people that have land and have resources. So we definitely like being close to Austin and San Antonio, but enough out of the way so that we don't have to deal with the daily bullshit of city life.
I mean, that's fair. I'm also like, I spent 4.5 years in Brooklyn. And then I've spent the last 2 years not in a city and bouncing around, and I miss city life and I like city life. And I like have actually like, I seek out just like brief moments in city life. And like right now I'm working like the suburbs of Houston, and it's like, can we go downtown? I just want to like go downtown. I want to not be able to see like through the skyscrapers. I want to just like only be able to see buildings like in every
How
direction.
old are you?
I'm 25.
Okay. So I was the same way up until like last year, really. And really it was like the Pork Fest, Jack Fest, FloteFest that kind of had me changing, you know, or thinking differently. And then also, yeah, I'm 36. So just the position that my wife and I are in wanting to have a family. It's just I feel we like the rural small town stuff. But I completely understand.
I figure I have to like move to Austin to find the wife that I then move into the suburbs.
Exactly.
Right? Like
that's why like being young and using cities for that is great.
Mm-hmm. But it really does I'm loving the amount of influx and the amount of attention that Austin is getting, because I think it could, like, I agree that there's a lot of like commies from California that are coming in and ruining it, but I think that the majority of the people that are moving from New York and California into Texas, because I would be one of them, right? Like, I'm also a New Yorker. I feel most of them are doing it because Texas is better, right? Like in some ways, and the stuff that they're bringing over from their other states, some of it is like, they want, like, they're trying to push a statewide universal health care in Texas or something like that, is like something that's being talked about now. And it's like, no, not that stuff. But like your cannabis laws, you can bring those over with you. And that, like, it's already decriminalized in Austin, but we could push that further, get like psilocybin decriminalized, and like, just, I feel like Austin could be a nice like little test case for like what happens when you really mix the best of the red and the blue and the yellow and have a city. Because like right now everyone associates like libertarian society with like bumfuck nowhere, like you have to be like some small podunk town or some dude in a cabin in the woods to be an anarchist, and I don't believe that. And I think Austin is our only chance, or like at least in like the next decade or so, to like prove that it's possible to like, do it in a city.
I don't know. I mean, we're more focused on, we picked a spot that we're going to be moving to eventually near Marble Falls area, which is about 45 minutes away from Austin. And we're just looking to like, honestly, recoup, friends, family, which we are doing very fast actually. And members on Flote to move to that area or around that area, including Austin, so that we can, basically take over. It's a lot easier to take over a small town than obviously a big city. And that's basically our strategy.
Yeah. Well, I feel like our strategies can work pretty well together, being nice and close to each other. Shut up. Fucking dogs.
Surprised our dogs are quiet. They're sleeping right now.
Yeah, I haven't heard a peep.
Yeah.
So what is like what's your 5-year plan, not just with Flote, but like everything? Like where do you, let me ask this differently. How do you see the this is going to be a much different question than what I asked. Do you see the trajectory of the world as like imminent doom, or do you think that we can like curve it back and be successful at this kind of stuff we're doing? Like, I mean, earlier you talked about like if we break down communication so much, the only other option is violence. Do you think we're like definitely going that way, or do you think that there's a way to like just instigate communication enough and maybe vote in enough like half decent people and kind of like stay the situation for a while?
I think I am an optimist. I do believe that we can with energy and focus create a brand new, better world. And so, I do believe that we have a fighting chance for sure. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be, I think, especially like the war on crypto, I believe is going to get worse and worse once they actually put 2 and 2 together and actually realize that this is going to destroy the Federal Reserve and every central bank in the world. So they won't be able to use their printing press to be able to fund all the atrocities and bullshit that they do, across the globe. So I'm an optimist, but I do believe that things are probably going to get pretty bad before they get better, because again, the lizard people are already at war with us. And they have names, they're on mainstream television, they wear uniforms. or suits typically. So they have already identified themselves to us. So it's just a matter for us, at least our strategy again, is to create, a big enough community to be able to support each other. Again, good people doing good things, and build these trust networks across the world, really. And that's really, again, what Flote is about. To opt out as much as we can, and build the resources and build, different systems to be able to communicate and engage in commerce with each other with. So, and hopefully be left alone. That's probably not going to be the case of being left alone.
Right.
But I'm hoping by the point of it getting dire, which it already is really for me personally. Again, my father is locked up in a state prison in Florida for the last 30 years for a nonviolent drug offense. So there's already at least 250,000 people in the U.S. serving time for nonviolent crimes. But anyway, so by the time that it gets really bad, that either we can opt out as much as we can and have the means to hopefully not, but probably defend ourselves if needed. So
yeah.
But even then, I feel that we have a fighting chance because liberty's trending. It's becoming more and more popular. We're seeing now bridges being connected with, libertarianism and even like Trump conservatives. And this represents, I would say probably 30 to 40% at least of the population, potentially up to 50%. And I think those numbers are growing. And their reasons and definitions and whatever is always changing on why they want to create more tyranny across the world. We just see today, Biden, I guess, Aaron told me the headlines. I guess they're like sending troops to like the Ukraine and all this shit. It's like, dude, no one wants to do this shit anymore. We're over your garbage. Like, we are over it. And at the very least, we're not going to fund it anymore. And we're going to do our own thing. You can do your own thing. Just leave us the fuck alone. But if you do mess with us, we have the means to defend ourselves. And I think that's where we really need to have the not even long-term focus now. It's really short to long-term, because I'm not sure how much time we have left, but I think, God willing, we can do it.
Yeah. I think that we're not going to fund it anymore is the important part. I went on a mini little rant in the Twitter DMs while I was getting ready to go live. Because one of my friends is an activist, and he was complaining about taxes.
Twitter DM, is that Saudi Arabian intelligence messaging app that I've been hearing about? Sorry,
yes, that one. But I was just like, why the fuck are you paying taxes? Like, you work for a libertarian organization and you're paying and they're deducting taxes from your paycheck. Why? Just no. We need to not. It's not actually that difficult, to be honest. I mean, obviously you can get audited, and there are problems, and there are lawsuits, and there are hoops that you end up having to jump through. But there are lawyers with perfect records in these lawsuits, that can help you. If anybody's watching this and they need stuff, go look at anything Dan Berman has ever said, because he posts this crap constantly. Or you can reach out to me. And I haven't paid taxes in 5 years, mostly because I don't make enough to actually need to pay taxes. I usually do enough either under the table work, or basically barter work, or I'm working on a campaign and they're feeding me and housing me and not actually paying me, stuff like that. So I don't actually, the IRS isn't worried about it, but it's not that we just need to stop funding the system. And the more we use crypto, the more that we use all of these alt tech platforms, we just starve the beast. And the thing is, I think that systems like this and things like crypto prove that our ideas aren't that crazy. People think that we need to go Mad Max to be anarchists, and we don't. We just need to remove literally the worst parts of society, which is the government.
The minority of people control and own. So
yeah.
No, I mean, I completely agree. Again, I'm gonna make a shirt that says just opt out of fucking everything bullshit, and or at least give me the opportunity to opt out of this bullshit, because I didn't sign the fucking Constitution. I wasn't there. And I don't support the current system that they say that it supports. They don't follow it anyway. So I think the most truthful thing that George W. Bush ever did say was the Constitution is just a goddamn piece of paper. I mean, he was right. It is. So, and we need to, again, create better systems, which is actually really easy because their system is so shitty and they're still trying to defend it, which is laughable. But again, we have the technology now to just say, peace out, Boy Scout, and, hopefully be left alone.
Yeah. Thank God. So before we wrap up, I want to give you one more chance to kind of just like overall pitch Flote, tell people how to sign up, maybe like where they can find that like YouTube, the Facebook and Twitter import function.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So join Flote.com and it takes 2 seconds to sign up. You can follow me. I'm King on Flote. I'm active in the community. You can follow my wife, Erin. You can follow this show on there as well, like I do.
Okay.
And yeah, we're just, hey, we're social media that respects our members, our members, just period, not even, their rights. We respect them as people, individuals. And unlike big tech, where they look to extract value from their user base, we're looking to provide value to our membership, our members. And again, support good people doing good things. And we believe that we are a team that is doing that. And it's more important than ever because of what the hell is going on in the world right now, which is just Looney Tunes. Honestly, it is Looney Tunes, and they're brainwashing, us in mass. What was the mass psychosis or whatever?
Mm.
I mean, it seems like a real thing. It seems like it to me. And
no, that's medical disinformation.
Oh, sorry,
Kingsley. Yeah. That's not a real thing, and you have to know that that's not a real thing. This guy, a psychologist, came up with a term that he actually didn't even come up with. But even if he had, it's like, ooh, a psychologist came up with a new term. That's like such a rarity that we need to critique really hard. What? Sorry, little mini rant there, because none of that made sense to me. It was like they were condemning this, and I'm like, first of all, you're wrong. Second of all, even if you were right, what so? Like,
I would say probably the top 2 emojis or emoticons, or whatever you call them, that I've used in the last 2 years is just the clown one and the world one right next to each other, because that's what it seems like. And the thing is, it's been like this forever, for a long time. I mean, if you look back in time, and we think things are like weird and strange now, but what the fuck was the creation of the Federal Reserve? What the fuck was the creation of the IRS? What the fuck was the World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam? I mean, was started with the false flag events with the Gulf of Tonkin. That is all verified information now. What was the first Gulf War? Like, what are all these crazy things that these crazy people are doing? No, thank you. I'm done. I was in the military. I did my time of being brainwashed and all that bullshit. Thank God I found Ron Paul on Facebook, and he was able to kind of be that turning point for myself.
Fuck yeah. That was a great little snippet there.
There we go. Yeah, I'm excited to see about these snippets.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I am excited to see what systems like Flote do and what you guys are able to do. Like, honestly, I was not expecting half of the shit that you said in this episode of like the things that you guys are planning on doing. I'm like way more excited about Flote now than I was an hour and 29 minutes ago, which I was already super fired up about Flote an hour and 29 minutes ago. So yeah, this sounds really cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm excited too, and that's that's what's the most important, honestly, because I want to be the number 1 Flote user. Not by like followers or anything, but like we're building Flote really, for us as individuals, team, and for the rest of the movement. And just, people, again, they just believe in free speech, and you want to have conversation about the topics that are being censored right now that are just out clown world ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, I've had this roadmap basically in my mind since early 2019. And now we are at the stage we will, again, after our version 1 launch, we are going to have the foundation to just start pumping out a lot of these features that will make the usability, the functionality, the design, everything very fluid and very useful as a tool for communication, broadcast, and commerce. And that's what we're all about.
Fuck yeah. All right, guys, you heard him. If you haven't already, which I feel like pretty much everybody that watches this show has done this, Flote.app or joinflote.com. Sign up, go follow me, go follow Kingsley, follow Aaron, follow Free Thought Project. And then come back over here, like, subscribe, and share this episode with everyone, but share it on Flote. But also Facebook and Twitter, because like we need the normies to get on over and learn about some shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kingsley, thanks for coming on. This was fucking great.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Guys, again, like, subscribe, do the things, and we will catch you back here next week. We've got a fun week. It's Lauren Potzler and Kelsey Lyon. So we're talking about graphic design and building packs. And it should be a great time. We'll see you then. Until then, keep up the fight.
Shut up and sit down.